Bodo Glimt 2, Kenan Yildiz 3. Marvelous, magisterial, magical, incredible, astounding, astonishing, the best, phenomenal, genius, exceptional, excellent, brilliant, marvelous. I don't know if I've repeated adjectives. How else can I describe Kenan Yildiz, guys? I've got myself here with me the signed Kenan Yildiz shirt that he gave me. It reads, "To Luca, the best." I don't know if you can see this. I'm not the best. I'm nothing. He's the best. Where would we be without this guy? Guys, seriously. Where would we be without the Turk? Without Kenan? Because that first half performance compared to the second half performance was like the same human, but two different forms. Jekyll and Hyde. Two-Face and Harvey Dent. Nightwing and Robin. Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. You know, the same person, right? The same team, Juventus. But two oxymoronic versions of ourselves. The first half was genuinely one of the weakest, most spineless performances I've seen from Juventus. And the second half was the opposite. It was a Juventus that was working hard, pressing high, on the front foot, winning our second duels, just dying on the pitch, fighting for the badge. A Juventus that was positive, a Juventus that was creative, a Juventus that believed. Quite ironic, wearing the Believe Ted Lasso t-shirt. It was two oxymoronic performances. In the second half, it was brilliant. It was a breath of fresh air. Okay, granted, we gave away the penalty. We'll talk about that in a sec. That's an individual error. But it was like night and day between the first half and the second half. We're going to dive into the analysis. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 20k subs, boys. Like the video if you enjoyed. Share it to some friends. Comment below your thoughts on the game. But let's get into this. Overall, Bodo Glimt actually had more possession in the end. 58% possession. I think in the first half they had about 60 to 65, which says a lot. We edged it on expected goals, total shots and big chances. But I promise you, this only came in the second half. That's why it seems more balanced. 3.48, 23 to 18, 5 to 3. In the first half, it was all Bodo Glimt. I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is peak. This is going to end badly. I was fearing the worst. I was already fearing the worst going into this game because I was looking at the situation. We're away in Norway. It's freezing cold. It was snowing. Oh, guys, I'm not doing a tie here. We mustn't forget that it's been snowing. But I'm naming all the situations. We're playing on artificial grass, not actual grass, because it's just too cold. So in Norway, they play on AG. They play on Astro because if there's snow or ice, they can actually play football because there's heaters underneath the surface of the pitch. So it will just melt it, you understand? So it's a completely different surface. That's why the players continuously were slipping and they were wearing different studs, okay? Which is not ideal because there's a lot of injuries on artificial grass. Any footballer knows it sucks to play on. But different surfaces, we had to account for that. So already going into it, I was thinking, wow, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. They're a tough team. They're hard to break down. They're actually pretty well drilled, I would say. But the first half, it was all Bodo Glimt. I don't think we created one chance. One I remember was almost like an Adzic, I don't know, like knee shot over the bar. He had a poor first half and he got hooked at halftime. But one man changed the whole game. One man changed the whole game, and it's this man. This man here completed the most dribbles, obviously got the assist, but both goals came from Kenan. Actually, all three goals came from Kenan. All three goals came from Kenan Yildiz. The first one, lovely dribble inside. It then falls to Openda, who granted a little bit of fortune, but we needed that, who finishes it well. Second goal, he weaves through two players, skillful, right foot, left foot, lays it off to Miretti, who puts in a beautiful cross to McKennie. And a third goal, him again. Again, bit of fortune, keeper parries it to David and he taps it in. But the fact of the matter is, all three goals came from one person. And there were more chances that he created for our teammates as well that just didn't put it in the back of the net. The keeper made a couple good saves, to be fair. But everything was flowing through him. It switched. Why? Because Kenan came on. It's not a coincidence. We didn't magically improve for no reason. We magically improved because of this human being. Because of this footballer that comes from Turkey and is 20 years old. We improved because of one guy. And in the first half, when Adzic was in that position, I'll be honest, bro, he wasn't proactive. He was sluggish on the ball. he just looked a yard off it. I like Hadzic. I'm a big fan of Hadzic. I think he has bags and bags of potential. I actually don't think that's his natural position anyway. I think he's an 8, an advanced 8, almost in that Odegaard role. Playing him out wide doesn't really make much sense. He's not a great one-on-one dribbler. He's not very fast, so he's not like Kenan at all. So I think he was already played out of position. Okay, so I'm not really going to dig into Hadzic because he's very young. I like him a lot, and he was played out of position. That's Kenan's position, and he's irreplaceable on the left-hand side. We cannot replace him, as Pep Guardiola once famously said. He changed the game for us, and he is one of the best players in the world, and he showcased that today. The reason why he's so good at football. And this separates like decent, average players from top players. When the game gets tough, when your team needs you, do you turn up? Do you put your team on your shoulders? Do you drag them over the line single-handedly? And Kenan did that today. And he's the sole reason we got the 3 points. Even at the end, what I love, he's defending. He's working hard off the ball. There was one, he blocks it for a corner. I don't know the Bodo Glimt players too well who whips across him, but he's blocking it. He's up and down the flank. There were so many times where he was panting heavily. He's got his arms on his knees, gasping for air because he's working so hard. He wants to be on the ball. He's pressing from the front. Like, I know he only played 45 minutes, right? But he left his heart and soul on that pitch, and he's bringing home the 3 points to Turin. And we can only thank him. He's by far the man of the match, by a mile. And at the minute, guys, I'll be honest, it's Kenan and friends. It's Kenan and co. It's Kenan and the rest of them. He's light years our best player. And we need to help him more. Now, he wasn't the sole good player. I thought, in general, McKennie worked very hard today. That header as well, wow. That leap, that vertical was super impressive. That was almost like a Ronaldo one. He was hanging in the air for quite a while. It was a really, really good header. I thought Conceição was causing problems. Conceição is one of those players where it's like, he's dangerous when he has the ball. But he's also dangerous in the sense that you don't know what he's going to do. I think his final decision-making needs to be refined. It needs to be worked upon because there's a couple times where he whips in a ball too late or too early. I think he needs to work on his decision-making in the final third. The keeper made a really, really good save on him, to be fair. And a player that I like as well that came off the bench, Edon Zagrova, he needs to work on his shooting because there were 2 chances he had on his left foot. His shot is weak. Very weak. He doesn't wrap the ball as well as Conceição. He almost hits it half-heartedly. And it became easy saves. But again, Zagrova is more like, I like him. 2 different kind of wingers. I like them both. But one needs to work on their final ball. One needs to work on their final shot. I'm happy that Openda got his goal, because I think this will kickstart him. It was, like, at the end of the day, it fell to him, but he had to put the ball in the back of the net, so it's harder than it seems. So he took his goal well, same as David. Right place, right time, but that's what you want from strikers. They were both in the right place at the right time. They finished their dinner. They needed goals. They've been low for confidence so far this season. They haven't bagged how we expected them to bag. And they come away with 2 goals. We win the game. There's positives to take. I also thought Miretti played well. Obviously, that goal, also another one, that goal that was disallowed. Like, obviously, it's a tapping from Miretti, but Kenan Yildiz, the intelligence, I thought he was going to shoot, to just cut it back, sees Miretti out the corner of his eye. It's world-class stuff. But again, yeah, here, look, he lost the most duels. Can't lie, he was losing his duels. He was slipping a lot, surface, whatnot. But Miretti actually, I thought, had a really, really good game in the middle of the park. He wasn't great in the first half, but the second half, he massively improved. And for me, Miretti in a midfield 3 with Locatelli and Thuram, I think could be an interesting play. I'm not so convinced on this formation still. I'm not the biggest fan of the 3-back. However, I got to give credit to Luciano Spalletti because I think whatever he said in that dressing room at half-time worked. Of course, we're talking about Yildiz, who actually changed the game. But I'm sure he gave a passionate speech, a speech that resonated with the players, that struck their heart, because everyone, not just Kenan, obviously, who came on, but everyone upped the urgency. Everyone increased everything in the second half. It was almost like we put all our stats on max 99. As I said, we were pressing hard from the front. We were winning all our second duels for like a good 20-minute stretch. It was a different Juventus side. We looked like lucid. We looked alert. We looked focused. And I as soon as I saw Kenan come on and we scored the first one, I thought we were going to win. I was pretty confident. But again, then I was like, well, it's inevitable for a draw when Cabal comes on. I think that was a bit of a weird substitution. I would have brought on Kostic, to be honest. because Cabal was playing here instead of Cambiaso. He wasn't great, actually. He played one great ball into someone. Zagrova or Conceição, I think he played a lovely ball to. I don't remember. He played a sick ball, but that was the only thing he did. I would have bought on Kostic. But Cabal in that moment is very rash defending. It's very rash. He didn't time his tackle well. He was late. It was bad. It was poor defending from Cabal, and that could have cost us. Luckily, we have a certain Turk who saved the day. But that was very rash from him, and the decision-making from him, it needs to be improved, because in moments like this, you can't afford to give away penalties. In terms of these guys, I mean, I'll be real, apart from Berg and also Hauge, who came on, who used to play at Milan, I don't know their players too well. They were actually surprisingly better than I thought. But we got the 3 points, and that is the main thing. We come away with a win. And look, it's not a pretty win, of course, but we needed that win. Where does that put us now? It puts us 21st with 6 points. Of course, a bunch of teams below us still have to play. But 6 points, that's our first win. We needed the win. We needed to win. There was no two ways about it. We're drawn 3. We lost to Madrid, of course. And we got to play Paphos, we got to play Benfica, and we got to play Monaco. And we need 2 more wins to solidify top 24. So we need to win 2 of those 3 games. Paphos at home has to be a win. Then Benfica played today. What was the score in the end? They beat Ajax 2-0. Look, so that was their first win as well, Benfica, I'm pretty sure. Where are Benfica in the table here? Yeah, they'd lost 4 and they got a win today, but they still got to play Napoli. They got some tough games. But Benfica are a bogey team in Europe. We just can't beat them for some reason. They got Mourinho there as well. Another storyline, Mourinho against Juventus. That's a tough one. And then Monaco away, who have actually been poor this season, but Paul Pogba's there. More storylines away from home. It's not going to be easy. I believe they drew to City, I want to say. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if City won by 1 or they drew in the end. I think it was a draw, but I can't remember too much. So anyway, they're here as well. They're 1 point behind us with a game in hand against Paphos. So actually, yeah, they might have drawn. Wait, where is it? Yeah, they did draw to City 2-2. They only lost to Club Brugge in the Champions League. I think they lost to Nice at the weekend when Pogba made his return. But Paphos is like, has to be a guaranteed win, and then it's a flip of the coin. We have to win one of the last 2. Ideally, we win all 3, and then we're more comfortable and whatnot. We have a nicer, what's it called, game in the playoffs, play-ins, whatever the hell they call it. But yeah, we needed the 3 points today, so I'm glad that we got over the line. Honestly, guys, I was nervous going into this game. I was nervous throughout it. I don't think it was a great performance, as I said. Really a different Juventus team in 2 different halves that we saw. But one positive we can take is that Kenan Yildiz is still making a difference. And even if, look, 1 assist, someone that didn't watch the game would think, yeah, 1 assist is not bad. If you watch the game, you'll know. It's like, you know, like Neymar against Bayern Munich, Neymar against, I don't know, those against Argentina, Copa America final, those 0 GA performances where you have to watch them to see the impact that they have, right? It's kind of like Hazard, right? Those guys, Kenan Yildiz is like that. He'll impact the game without getting goals and assists. He's not a finalizer in the sense of like a Mo Salah or a winger who's just ridiculous output. It's the pre-assists or the link-up play or the grabbing the ball from the halfway line, making a difference, making an impact, looking sharp. And Kenan does that to the highest standard. So thank you, Yildiz, man. What a player you are. But guys, make sure you let me know in the comment section what you thought about the game. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 20k subs. Like the video if you enjoyed. Share it to some friends. Forza Juve. Thank you for the win, man. We needed that. Like, I need water. I don't know why I said I. We all need water. But yeah, goodbye.